Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach. It's going to be a round 23 preview, and it is a bit of carnage on the Supercoach fronts this week, which is, I did say it last week. I said it in the preview of round 22. I was hoping for a bit of carnage, and boy oh boy, it is delivered. Unfortunately, it's affected a lot of my team, which is not exactly what I wanted. But there's a couple of other big injuries as well. That is nice at the same time. But yeah, let's go through. I actually haven't even. I did the team list discussion video pretty recently. I haven't actually looked if I've got the cover for all the missing players at the moment. So let's have a look. We'll go through if we've actually got 17 good players this week. It would be nice if we did. So, okay, Robson. Obviously, we're playing Robson. That's fine. Payne Haas, obviously not playing. So we will start Fainu. Curran. I don't know. I feel like Curran is very 50-50. I guess worst case scenario. Well, there's obviously two things here, right? Either we just play Liam Henry over Curran, or, and I know it's going to be like, obviously just trade Payne Haas out. Like he's out for the season. Like Payne Haas isn't going to come back in a couple of weeks. He's gone for the season. So he is a trade out, but I don't know. There's more to it. I feel like there's more to it than that. So we'll talk about that later. But at the moment, if it works out, like if Curran plays and he's good to go, not hampered too much, then the Curran Fainu combo up front, I don't hate it. It's not the worst thing in the world. The back row is pretty scuffed. We're seeing, obviously Crichton was out, but then now Fermor and Katoa are out. So thankfully, this is why we loaded up in the back row, dude. Originally, I was like, there's no reason to get like 6 gun back rowers, right? Like, we're going to be sitting like 2 gun back rowers every week. Like, who are we going to play? The silver lining is we haven't had to really worry about that because there's been carnage. So, obviously, Bryn Nikora comes straight back in. Ola Kawatu, great to see him back. He's going to be a potential, I wouldn't say pod, but a very, very nice play. I wonder, he probably is fairly poddish, I would say. None of these guys are playing, so let's take the reserves off of them. Nathan Cleary playing, D. Brown playing, Lucky Galvin. Dane Laurie is back, you absolute beauty. That is sensational. The centre wing, so Kiraz, Holmes, Iro, Dom Young is out. So he had the bye anyway, but now with the injury, this is where it throws a little spanner in the works. So we'll just start Garrick, I guess. No Teddy. He's on a bye, so Tommy comes straight back in. And, okay. Whoops. We do not have Fermor playing, so we can just play Marju. You know what? That's actually pretty good. So we got Brown, Laurie, Marju, McLean. The only other we still got Jane Bradley who's starting, which is good. Like playing big minutes. If he's playing big minutes, like Brayley, you would hope to get like 40 points as a base, right? You're not expecting a try assist and like the amount of attacking stats of last week, but if he's getting through 30 to 40 tackles plus, then that's fine. He's like an option. And then even Liam Henry, banging out 44 points. Like, how many minutes? And especially with Fisher, this is what I was talking about, with Fisher Harris missing a few weeks now. Obviously, he's not starting, but, well, okay, he still only played 33. He played 33 minutes, but he got 44 points. He's an absolute fucking, like, PPM god. Like 32 minutes, 42 points, 37 minutes, 46 points. Like, yeah, okay. I would like to get it up to 40 minutes. I was sort of hoping with Fisher Harris out, he would get up to 40 minutes, but okay. If he's playing mid-30s and he's banging out 40 points, that's fine, honestly. So, you know what? We're actually okay. We're okay. Now, the big question, and I talked about this in the in the team list as well. I feel like this is the last actually difficult week for buys. Obviously, depending on your team, like you could have obviously more players from other teams going forward, but I feel like this is like the last difficult round for a buy until round 27, where we're not going to know like if there's absolute carnage or not. Because last week was difficult with Manly on the bye. We were missing 3 absolute guns. And now with the Roosters, we're also missing 3 absolute guns as well. So it's a tricky one, compounding the fact we have Fermor, Katoa, and Payne Haas out. We're missing... We've got 3 absolute guns for the Roosters out. And then we've also got 3 absolute gun players injured. So I mean, we got 6 guns out, and I gotta be honest, I think our team is still pretty good. So this is, you know, the one good thing about me not nothing out like earlier, it's come home to help me quite a bit this week. So the question mark now, right? The big one is Dom Young and Payne Haas. Now obviously Payne Haas, he's gone for the season, like I said. He's a trade out, right? He is a trade out, but I don't know if I want to make another trade in the front row. Like, honestly, I feel like I'm happy to run Curran and Fainu. Obviously, the Curran injury the last couple of weeks with the knee niggle and now the AC issue, that's thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. If Curran was like fit, he wasn't, he hadn't been injured the last couple of rounds and you know whatnot, I would honestly be happy just running Curran and Fainu and having Henry as our backup player when the Tigers are on a bye, and I think the Dogs have another bye coming up, if I'm not mistaken. But I'd be happy to do that, honestly. Like, I don't know, like I don't want to spend up to get in. I don't even think I can afford... I probably could just afford Mitch Barnett. I mean, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the front row. I don't... Do I really want to spend another trade in the front row when I've got players that can... Like, Fanua Blake scored 55 points. Again, he was pretty damn good. He played good minutes, but... if he doesn't score a try, he's not going that much bigger than Curran getting like 50s. Obviously, he is very likely to score a try. Actually, we can't. Okay, you know what? It's sort of a good thing, because if I could afford Barnett, I would have been very, very slightly tempted to go Barnett, because he's playing huge minutes. Like, he's playing absolutely enormous minutes through the middle, and then he gets shifted to the edge occasionally. Like, he's playing big minutes and getting through a bunch of work with attacking upside. So I would have been slightly tempted, but I can't afford him, so that's fine. Put the line through Barnett. That is okay with me. I didn't want to do it personally. Joey Tarpany is obvious. He's the obvious trade in, pretty much a sideways trade. Tarpany has no buys coming up. He's finished for the buys. His minutes, the minutes necessarily haven't really gone up. I don't think. I mean, I feel like there's still like 55 minutes. Yeah, he had one 61-minute game, but yeah, 55 minutes. He's just getting a few more offloads away, and obviously against the Doggies, he had some attack, like he had a line break, he had a bunch of offloads. Is it worth getting him in though? Like 55 minutes, like generally, I mean, if you look at it, he's playing 55 minutes, he's getting 60 points. Give or take, depending if he's getting a few offloads away, right? Is it worth the trade? Is it worth the trade to do that? I think... He's got a lowish break even. I think it was like 40 odd. So he's probably going to make money, but he's not going to get insane. So I think... the thing about it, right? I've got 3 trades left. Again, I've my plan of leaving 3 trades and a boost for the final round, again, I think looking at the final round and looking at potential restings, I actually think that holding the 3 trades isn't quite worth it. Maybe it is. Maybe more players get rested than I assume, and like random ones like Fafita and other guys will just randomly get rested for whatever reason. Like, you never know. It could happen for sure. Having 3 trades could become beneficial, but I don't know. There's not that many great matchups to target as well. It's a bit of a tough final round. There's a lot of grudge matchups. There's a lot of like rivalry matchups that you're not expecting like absolute blowouts. Like last year you had Manly taking on the Tigers. I think the Tigers, and it was a huge swing. Like Kohler, fucking Olaquatu and Cherry Evans, like, I don't know, they averaged like 150 points between them. It was insane. But I don't think that's going to happen this year. It could, but I think using 1 trade is still fine, and saving 2 for like the final round is a-okay. Now, I think holding the trade is actually the better decision, because Dom Young and even Katoa / Fermor, they're all pretty up in the air. I think it's coming out Katoa. Katoa is probably the most likely to be good to go next week, I think. It seemed like his was like half a rest, half a niggle. So if Katoa is back next week, I feel like Katoa is going to be back next week, and then he'll be good to go for the run home, right? Fermor, I don't know. I haven't looked at it anymore, so I don't know if he's going to be out for a bit longer or whatever. And then also Dom Young with a hammy. Obviously, again, they're saying it's a minor hamstring, and they're hopeful he's going to be back next round. And if he, like, that's the thing with Dom Young, like, there is a temptation to trade him out, but God, trading out Dom Young, if he's back next week, they have the bye this week anyway, then they take on Parramatta, Gold Coast, Canberra, South. It's not as good as I thought, especially if Parramatta actually start to play a little bit better, but it's still a very, very good run home for the Roosters, and Dom Young could be a very high ceiling player if you hold on. So I think for me, the way I'm looking at it at the moment is hold trades this week. Like, the one guy I want to get in for Dom Young is Zach Lomax. But it sort of works out perfectly. Lomax takes on the Doggies, who again, like, if you go early on Lomax, it's not necessarily early. I think it's fine. Like, I can definitely see Lomax getting 80 plus against the Dogs. I know the Dogs have been very good. They've been very strong defensively, but Lomax, he's pretty matchup proof. Like, he is. He can score big against anyone, in my opinion. He's always going to have good base. He's going to have the offloads, and he's always the focal point of their attack. So if you go early on Lomax, I think it's fine. You don't have to wait a week. But for me, it works out well because I can wait. The Roosters had a bye anyway. I wasn't expecting to play. Well, I wasn't going to be playing Young anyway. We can wait a week. If Young is back next week, then, I mean, obviously I'm not going to trade him to Lomax. I'd still like to get in Lomax, but I mean, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I don't know. Part of me is like hoping he's out for a bit longer so I can just go to Lomax. But yeah, if Young is back next week, I think I just have to let Lomax go through to the keeper. I don't think it'll be worth the trade to get him in, just with our stacked back line. You could make a case, definitely. But yeah, but if Young is not, I think if Young, even if they say Young is missing, like the bye happens next week, he's not named, and they say he'll be back for the next game, I think I'd still do Young to Lomax. I think it would be worth it at that point, but again, I could change my mind. But that's one we're just going to wait and see on, and that means, again, I think Payne Haas this week, I don't think it's worth doing because I don't want to trade Payne Haas to Tarpany this week and then all of a sudden Dom Young is out next week and potentially longer. Then I definitely want to trade him to Lomax, and then all of a sudden I've only got one trade left, which I don't want to do. If Young is playing next week and I don't have to get in Lomax, even though I want to, then becomes again the possibility of going Payne Haas to Tarpany next week. which again, Tarpany's not going to be massively expensive. He'll cost a little bit more, but I still got plenty of cash in the bank. It is fine. It's fine if he makes some more cash. Payne Haas, he's not going to drop any more cash, so it's fine. And then we got the other two, and this is the order of preference. I haven't mentioned the second row yet, but in my opinion, the center wing, I think, is the most important to use a trade at the moment. Obviously the halfback and fullback and 5'8" is the most important. So they're most important. But in terms of injuries at the moment, I would say like Dom Young in the centers, like you can really target some massive high upside players. So they're the most important. Then the back row, because like if Katoa or Fermor is out for a while, there's some really good back row options. I mean, I talked about Paddy Carrigan. I think he's going to be massive for the run home. Like I feel like he's going to play 80 minutes every game. Like he's going to be huge. And there's definitely some other pods you could go in the back row that could be valuable. So if one of these two guys is out for a while, then I think they're number 2 on the priority list. And then the front row, I think, is number 3. Like, again, if Nrl Blake scores 3 tries on the trot, sure, he's gonna outscore Curran and Fainu by plenty, but it is what it is. Is he gonna do that? He might not. Tarpany, he's not gonna keep getting line breaks. Like, he's going to come back down to earth a little bit, I would say. He could kill it again for the next few weeks, but he's not going to get 80, 90 points in like base and offloads, right? He's going to drop. Again, he might not, but that's the reasoning for that. If Curran and Fainu can do a job for me, then that's fine. So even with all the carnage, I do think we hold the trade. The only caveat, and I guess the other point about like the carnage at the moment, is Dane Laurie. Dane Laurie is the other tricky one. And you know what? Obviously I'm not trading Dane Laurie this week, but and he's got a 4 break even, so thankfully he will make cash this week. You know what I thought? Obviously I got Brown at halfback, so we can swing Brown to we can trade Laurie to a 5'8" or a halfback, right? If Young is back and Fermor / Katoa are not like season-ending injuries, and they'll be back pretty soon, I'm happy to hold them. And then Payne Haas as well. We can just run the front row if Curran's still looking pretty good. I was thinking, you know what? Someone who is a potential pod player is Daly Cherry Evans from the Manly Seagulls. I think the Manly boys are one to target. Obviously, no goal kicking. I mean, let's just have a look at some... We'll have a look at some 5'8" halfbacks. Because, again, that'll be the question. What do I do with Dane Laurie if next week Dylan Edwards comes straight back in? Again, there's 2 layers to this. So Edwards, we're predicting Edwards to come back next week. That was the forecast, right? If Laurie goes straight out of the team, he's not in the 17, we don't have to trade him. We can definitely just hold him for a potential recall in round 27 if they rest players. That would be beautiful. If Laurie is put to number 14, which I think that's a very real possibility, it would be fucking great if somehow he jagged like a wing spot. I don't know if... I don't want to wish injury. Not like an injury to Toto or Taruva, but, you know, Taruva, his form hasn't been great, and he is leaving the club next year. I don't know if Taruva has a bit of a shocker this week. Laurie gets the wing spot. A boy can dream. That would be fucking ideal. But if he is number 14, I think we do have to trade him. So that's why, again, I think we're not going to do a trade this week. I think next week we'll know a fair bit more in terms of a couple of the injuries. Also, you know, the bye. I don't know who's on the bye next week, but I know we're not going to have a lot of players from that team, so it's fine. Like, the only Penrith we do have a few. When do Penrith have a bye, actually? We do have a few Penrith boys. They have a bye, or are they done? Oh no, they're done. So Penrith are done, so they're fine. They were the only other team that I is pretty heavily owned. We got a couple of Tigers, we got a couple of Cowboys. I know they have a bye, but yeah, we're pretty sweet. We're pretty sweet for that all round. Obviously the Tigers, and this is the other thing with Laurie, the Tigers have a bye in round, I think it's around 25, I want to say. No, round 26. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Round 26. Yeah, there's a lot of things to go. We'll know what's happening with Laurie by that point anyway. So we might have already made the decision to trade him out to a gun, or we just run a guaranteed loop that round if we did want to keep Galvin and Laurie. I don't know. There's a lot of things to come before that, so it's not that big a deal, honestly. I think it's fine. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at halfbacks and 5'8". The main one is Cherry. I am very keen on Cherry Evans potentially. I mean, I guess even a fucking Sammy Walker. Like, I think, you know what? I'm not even going to look at 5'8". I'm not... Fuck, I'll quickly look at the 5'8". Honestly, I don't think I'm keen on any of the 5'8", though. Like, I've got Dylan Brown, who I can swing to 5'8". Matty Burton, I don't know. He's fine, but with the goal kicking, I don't know, he just doesn't score. He doesn't have the ceiling, in my opinion. He's had a couple of big ones for sure, but don't love it. Definitely not getting Thomas Dearden. Cody Walker, no. Luai, no. I mean, if I can afford Luai, but I don't know. He's tempting. You know what? Luai would be slightly tempting, I think, but a little bit too expensive, I think. And especially with now Cleary back really, really taking over. Luai scoring, yeah, he's probably going to be more that 50 to 60. I think he's a little overpriced now. Maxi Plath, I still don't love him at dummy half. Like, he got a couple of he got a try and a try assist, which is great. He scored 100 points, but he's not going to do that every week, so I don't like Max Plath anymore. Obviously, you got Cameron Munster, who's the other big one. I guess Campbell as well, but I'm definitely not getting Campbell. I think the Titans have a pretty tough run home. Trindle's now out. But yeah, I don't want to go Campbell either. But Cam Munster, fuck, he's cheap. He's so cheap. I mean, you could do a lot worse than fucking Cameron Munster, that's for sure. But he's probably going to lose money again this week. God damn, he's going to get 500k. I mean, South, he could go well, but then Penrith. Granted, he does sort of score better against the better team, so banging 100 in that one. Dolphins, Cowboys, Bronx to finish. I mean, he loves fucking taking on the Queensland teams, bro. If we didn't want to go like a Cherry Evans earlier, if we held, again, we're not trading this week, so we'll know a bit more. If we played Galvin for a couple of weeks, obviously, held for around 25, I don't mind bringing in Cameron Munster for Dolphins, Cowboys, Bronx to finish the season. You know the Storm are going to want to put a score on the Bronx in that final game too, so I don't mind that at all. Yeah, he's probably the 158 that I'm still like... I still like. Obviously the injury, and is he going to be really on top of his game? He looked good. I mean, that's the thing with fucking Munster. He was on like 60 points at half time. He just... he can be very frustrating. He would have been so frustrating to own last week because he was killing it and then just didn't get any more points. But the halfbacks. Okay, so the halfbacks. Going through... So, no, I don't like Jerome Hughes now with Cameron Munster back in. I still think Hughes is fine, but I can see the points. It was always sort of the way with the Storm, like Papenhuyzen, Grant, Hughes, Munster. There was obviously games where they were putting like 50 points on teams and like most of them were scoring big, but a lot of times it'll be like one or two of them score big and the other two go bad and then they'll flip. So with the four big guys back on deck, I don't like Hughes really at all. Sammy Walker, I do really like. Matty Burn, no. Cherry Evans, yes, absolutely. They're saying fucking Hines. Oh my god. Can you imagine? Oh man. There's no way, right? They're saying he's expected to be back by around 26, 27? Brother. Do you... There's no way, right? Is he actually expected to be back then? Because if you held the trade and let's say if he actually did play around 26, 27, oh my word. Like that could... I said before that I don't think there's that many players in the last round that could really go massive. But if fucking Hines comes back for the last couple of games, I mean, he is one guy. Yeah, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Who did they actually play in the last two games? I know they have a good draw. Obviously, that he's not playing the Titans this week, but they play... So the Warriors and Manly. I mean, if he was back around 26, if you had a trade, you're bringing him straight back in, right? You'd have to. It'd be such a huge pod play. Yeah, that's crazy. And he's cheap too, so it's not going to take much to get to him. But that does mean you forego Sammy Walker and Cherry Evans, because you do have to wait a few weeks, and that by that point, I mean, you could still go like a Cherry Evans, but I'd probably lean towards Munster in the last couple of games over. Well, what is Sam Walker's last two rounds like? He'll be a little expensive though after getting 100. So 26, 27, he takes on Canberra and South. It's a couple of pretty good matchups. I mean, it's a pretty... Sammy Walker, Oh, maybe I just go Sam Walker next week, honestly. If Laurie does just drop out, it'd be very tempting just to go straight to Sam Walker. Obviously, that'll mean I'm not trading out Payne Haas until potentially the last round of the season. We might trade him out, depending on numbers and depending if there's a good front rower we want to get, or we just hold him. Hold a 600k front rower, not playing. It seems absurd, but I don't know. I would rather Sam Walker. I'd rather Sam Walker than Tarpany, I think. Just has the upside. Because of Parramatta, Gold Coast, Canberra, South. Very, very strong. And then it also comes down to Dom Young. If Dom Young's out for a couple more weeks, then I still think he's the priority over getting in a Sam Walker. Maybe not. I don't know. Would you rather Lomax or Sam Walker? Because again, I do have 5 other gun centre wingers that I can play any given time, or 5, 6 even. But the halfbacks, we've only got like the halves, halfback / 5'8" is a little bit scuffed. So yeah, maybe you'd still rather get in like a Sam Walker. What is Cherry Evans' draw like? I know it's not as good. Obviously the one good thing about Cherry Evans, he does play this week, but I'm not trading in this week, so it's a moot point. They're done with their buys. They take on New Zealand, West. So a couple of good matchups there, but then Doggies, Sharks. Yeah, I don't know. You'd probably rather go Sam Walker, because again, Walker's got the goal kicking. Cherry Evans does not, unless Garrick obviously goes down, but I mean that's not likely to happen, I guess, unless he does get a lot of head knocks. Yes. Okay. So that's another option now. I think the Nico Hines one's thrown me a little bit. I think I still don't mind. Again, it comes down to what happens when Edwards comes back and what happens with Laurie, what happens with Dom Young. Because again, we'll look at... I've looked at the front row. I don't really care about the front row. The centre wing, I still think Lomax is the go, right? Lomax, he's 670. 87 break even. I wouldn't be shocked if he hits it, makes a bit of cash, but he's not going to make a stack. If he does, he might lose money. But then he's got the Gold Coast, Sharks, Para, Canberra. I think you go big in all those games. Very, very good. Very good option. Any other centre wingers that we like? Who else is there? I mean, Joey Manu. Did Joey Manu... Okay, so he didn't get a suspension for that high shot. Really? That's a bit annoying. I was hoping he'd get a week or two. Did he actually not get suspended for that? That's crazy, dude. I mean, Manu. Would you rather Manu or Lomax? The money doesn't really matter. It is nice, I guess, looking at it, getting him for under 600k. Again, not playing. I think, do the Roosters have a better draw? I think I'd rather I gotta be honest, I think I'd rather Lomax over Manu. I don't know. It's tough. I think they're both great options. And then you got Brian To'o as well. I think, again, I would love... To'o would be great, but... Again, I'm not going this week. Then they got the Storm, Canberra, South. They got 3 games. 2 of them pretty tough. South, who knows. But then they could get rested in round 27. So you might need to get To'o for 3 games. I don't think I would much rather Manu or Lomax over Brian To'o, because Manu's not going to get rested, surely. And then Lomax, he's not going to get rested either. I wouldn't think, but you never know. Anyone else? I don't really think so. Like, there's obviously some pods, but I just don't think they're worth it over some of the other guys. So yeah, there's a bit to think about. Looking at the trades, obviously everyone's getting rid of Payne Haas. People are trading out Tedesco for Ponga. I mean, I don't agree with it. I mean, if you're gonna do it, this is the week to do it. Obviously, it could be a big score for Ponga for sure. Again, like I do, so the one thing I think I talked about in the team list, what it is, if you have probably like 6 trades plus, I don't hate the idea of doing a little roulette. Even if you go Tedesco to Ponga this week, and then potentially go straight back to Tedesco next week. Like, you might not at that point. Maybe you just hold Ponga, but I don't mind that. If you got a few more trades up your sleeve and you don't mind just burning like 2, I think it's actually not a bad play. But if you're in like my position, like 4 trades or less, I think holding Tedesco is the play, honestly. I think it is. Yeah, Payne Haas going to the big boys up front. Val Holmes, everyone's getting in Val Holmes. Joey Tarpany, Ponga for Dom Young, Lomax in, Tommy Trbojevic. What about the top 1%? What are they doing? I'd imagine pretty similar. Did it change? Yeah. People are going Ola Kawatu. Like it. That's right. I was going to look at second rowers. If one of those boys is out for a while again, everything else on top of it, we could look at a back row option. Here we go. So Kalamatangi, his minutes were down a lot last week. I'm praying that continues. I would fucking love if he was down to like 50 minutes a game. That'd be great. Jeremiah Nenai. I mean, Carrigan's the fucking one, dude. Jesus Christ. He's 500,000. Dude. Oh my word. I'm sort of... Again, this is the time of the season where you wish you saved a few more trades, because I would go to Carrigan in a heartbeat. I would trade out... I mean, I'd 100% trade out Fermor, I think. Definitely. Because I'm fine not playing Fermor. He's been great. He's missing this game. Carrigan's going to be huge. The Broncos need him to play massive, massive minutes. And he's going to. He played 80 minutes, 75 points. He's going to fucking kill it. And there's some big games. Like, they do have the bye in round 24. But yeah, Para, Dolphins, Melbourne. I would love to get in Paddy Carrigan. Obviously, yeah, I'm not going to do it next week, though, obviously. Yeah, I just realized that. I'm not going to... If Fermor or Katoa are out for a while, I'm not going to get in Carrigan next week, but I guess you could do it the week after. Any other back row of note? Okay, so Oliquati's still owned by 22%. That's probably less than like the top echelon, I would say, just because he was a smart trade out when he got suspended. It was a few weeks, but a lot of people held. Who else have we got? So yeah, I'm glad I got rid of Pierce Paul. He's still getting the starting spot, but yeah, he's gone downhill. He started well. I mean, looking at his scores, dude, like he was, without getting the attack, he was still going, like, starting from here, where he started getting 80 minutes, 67, 65, 50, 82, 84, and I'm pretty sure that's, like, maybe a little bit of attack, but then, yeah, it's just been on the decline. I mean, I guess it was against Penrith, so you would expect a bit more against the Tigers. He could have an okay run to finish the season, but, yeah. Hopefully he's cheap next year. He could be he's going to be like the same price. I know he started like, yeah, 350. Connor Watson. Nah, you'd get him at dummy half. I still like Connor Watson, but I'm not trading out fucking Robson. I'm not trading out Robson. Ryan Madison. I mean, he's been very good. He's getting good minutes. He's getting through a lot of work, but yeah, I mean, I can't go. I don't think he doesn't have the upside to warrant the trade now. Yeah, the back row, like I've got the good back rowers. Like there's no real pods. I mean, even like I was actually wondering about Sorensen. Yeah, Sorensen 32 minutes. Like he's been in the back of my mind, like with Cleary back in full strength, but yeah, he's just been playing hampered this season. Like he's just not getting the minutes. Yeah, he is one guy that can go big, but yeah, just not doing it this year. Who else went like big this week? No one really for the back rowers. Fucking the high scorers were Finu, Porter, Plath, Sewer, Fermor, Niokore, Barnett. That's insane. Like all the fucking high scorers. That's the back row this year. If they score a try, they're going big. If they don't, they're not. Like Crichton, 75, fine. Someone like a Preston's been rock solid, but yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, again, it's definitely... I think that trade, the one trade that we're happy to use, I think the more I look at it, I'm like, I think Payne Haas is just going to sit there, bro. Obviously, I don't know. If Curran is like a late scratching, If Curran's a late scratching, it's actually fine for this week, like in terms of who I play, because I can take the AE. Like it's either Henry or Brayley, so it doesn't really matter. They're both going to score fairly similar, unless someone gets injured, obviously. But so it's fine this week. I was thinking like, oh, can I switch him out? But it's fine. It's just a matter of if he is a late out, do we trade him? We'll probably know. Yeah, so we will know before the Raiders game. So again, if Curran is out, then Payne Haas to Tarpany is still on the cards. I don't know. I'm happy to take the 40 odd though. I don't know. I'm hoping he's not out, so I don't have to even worry about trading, because yeah, I know it seems insane to hold like a 600k front rower who's not going to play the rest of the season, but I honestly think that's what we're going to do. I think that's what we're going to do. Because again, like the trading Laurie to, like, you know, if Nico Hines is back in fucking round 26, 27, straight in, or do we go early on like a Sammy Walker next week or Cherry Evans? I still think Sam Walker's probably the option. Or if Dom Young's out, do we go Lomax or Manu? I think they're the two big ones. And then even the back row, like, I don't know. I expect maybe one of these guys will be out for a bit longer, but Katoa, it looks like he'll be good to go next week. Crichton will be back. He'll be off the bye. Olaquatu's done for buys. Nikora, when's his bye? Is he done for buys as well? Yeah, he's done for buys. I think Fafita is done for buys as well. Yeah, so we're honestly fine. Even if they were both out for a while, like, we're honestly sweet. So I think, yeah, with the one trade, we, obviously if one of our gun fullbacks goes down, we can use it for that, or if we're trading Laurie or someone like that. But yeah, I think, you know what? I think that's fine. And then holding those two trades, it's always tough when you got a few weeks of like holding the trades and you're like, fuck, it'd be nice to do one trade, but I think you have to hold two trades for the final round. Especially with that, like, I don't know how fucking likely it is, but if Nico somehow is back for that round 27, like, I did say there's a couple of good halfback options. I still think, Hughes is okay against the Bronx. Probably leaning off him now, though. But Sammy Walker against the Rabbits, I still think is pretty good. If Latrell's back, though, it'll be a little less tempting. I think, if Nico Hines is back, I think he would be the obvious trade in. And then you look at another potential pod, hopefully. But yeah, it could be a big swing. It could be. If, if Cleary gets rested and you can go fucking Clear it and Nico Hines, and, a lot of people can't do that trade, could be a massive swing in terms of, like, a captain as well. But I think that's wishful thinking. I don't know. Is he likely to come back? I don't know. I'll have to have a look. I'll have to have a deep dive into that. But yeah, we will see. But I think this week we're good. Like, sit starts are very easy, which is nice as well. The depth is coming in clutch, because look at the air. We have Tedesco, Young, Fermor, Katoa, Crichton, Payne, Haas out. That is a hefty salary sitting out this week, and honestly, I'm pretty damn happy with the team. Like, the only player I'm not that happy to play, like, our front row could be a little weak, but I'm pretty happy with everyone else. Even McLean against the Titans, that's a pretty good damn matchup. Like, I feel pretty good. The only thing I fucking haven't talked about is captain, vice captains. So, what am I talking? It's round 27, you idiot. Oh shit, that could have been dangerous. Round 23. No, they take on. Yeah, I guess Parramatta's still a pretty good matchup. Hopefully, he's running at Blaze to Lungy. That would be very nice. Hopefully. Okay, vice captain. So this week is obviously a very, very good loopable option. So I think, like, Cleary is, like, such a great vice captain this week, because obviously a lot of people are going to captain him. And then if he does randomly have a really bad game, if you vice captain him, you're not going to get stuck with it. And I'm pretty, like, I can definitely loop pretty comfortably. So I think Cleary has to be vice captain. The games before, I don't have any Storm players to vice captain, no Bunnies to vice captain, and then Gold Coast, obviously Fafita, you could vice captain, Nikora also a vice captain, don't mind it. But then who do you captain? So Tommy Trbojevic against the Raiders, definitely don't mind. At GIO Stadium, it's not great, but it's 3 o'clock. It's not a night game, so that's very nice. So I do like Tommy as a captain. Cowboys, fucking Val Holmes against the Bronx. That's a pretty juicy matchup as well. Who do I like out of Tommy or Val? That is a tough one. Dragons, doggies. I mean, Kiraz. Nah, I wouldn't want to captain him. And then no one really else. So I mean, it's out of Val Holmes, Tommy, and I think if we vice captain Cleary, we can very, very easily loop. We can just go because the Tigers and the Dogs play later. So who would we drop? Probably Curran, because Curran's already under a bit of an injury cloud. And that would also make my decision easier to like not have to trade, because then I don't get like an easy loop. So we probably just drop Curran, and yeah, Payne Haas also plays later than the Panthers. So yeah, we can just do that. It's an easy vice captain loop. And then we'll get either, I guess, Curran, Henry, or Brayley's points. So that's great. Honestly, this works out very, very nicely. And it's, again, I can't stress enough how much I don't like the captaincy system, because this is a week, right, where like I own Cleary, but I'm wanting him to go terribly. Like, I want Cleary to have an absolute shocker. He's probably not likely to, but I want him to go like 40 points, right? I would love him to have a shocker, even though he's in my team, because I can take like I can do the vice captaincy on him. It would be great if he had a shocker. I still think the vice captains, like the captaincy system, I think is fucking stupid, but I think it should work out well for me. Honestly, if he gets like, I think if he goes 90 plus, I definitely just take the loop. If he goes like 80, I'd be very tempted still. I don't know. It'd be a tough one. They play the Friday night, so we'll get some time to ponder it. Obviously, updates won't come in by the time the next game plays. They never come quick enough. But yeah, if he gets 90, I think I'd probably just loop. But I'm hoping he goes badly, because yeah, he's going to be very, very heavily captained. I would say a lot of people are vice captain, someone like a Pappy, or even a Fafita, or a Campbell if you've got him. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. We're saving a trade, which is nice. Even with all the carnage, I wasn't sure if we had 17, but no, we've got plenty of players, dude. And if Curran's ruled out, again, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. The only other, if Cleary doesn't do well and we don't want to loop him, and then if Curran's ruled out, that's right. I talked about this before, that I would just cop the AE. We still could trade him. We could still trade him to Tarpany. I know they play later, but we should know by the time before the Raiders play, we should know if Curran's out. If not, it'd be a bit annoying. Is there anybody else I'd want to trade him to? I mean, again, you could go like a Xavier Willison or a Corey Jensen. I don't hate one of those two from the Bronx. They do have a bye next week though, so it's a bit meh. But I think they can score pretty well without Payne Haas. I don't love anyone else. I mean, you could still go fucking Fennell Blake, but I just don't. I don't think it's worth it now. And then, yeah, Newcastle Tigers, there's no one really doing there. So if we don't know, we don't know. And if we don't, if we don't get in Tarpany, honestly, I don't really care. Tarpany maybe goes on an absolute tear for the last few rounds, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him come back down to the pack quite a bit after the last couple of weeks, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, overall I think we're looking in pretty good stead despite the carnage. So hopefully guys are enjoying the content. Make sure to like and comment. I won't get a chance to like do another video to like answer comments in a video, but I'll make sure to like reply to comments and questions on this video. So make sure to like and comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.